Coach Wizard, being to have Chris back and just, how was the vibe with him and the guys with him, getting back in action tonight?
It's good to have him back. He's been working diligently to, get back and not just get back, but play at the level that he wants to play. And I'm sure the guys are jacked up about it.
Curious when, how diligent he is, but did you even foresee him getting back this quickly, considering the initial time frame of 6 to 8 weeks?
I didn't put a limit on it or think that deeply about it. I just listened to the medical staff, and I'm with Chris every day, and we talk all the time. So I just watched him progress in his rehab and watched him on the floor when he was doing stuff. And I'm not surprised or anything. I'm just grateful he's back.
What are things that, because of him being out, that other guys have done, be it Dev and other guys handle the ball, that with him now back, maybe he can do even more things, possibly off the ball, and maybe the offense can even be more diverse because of that extent?
You coaching the team now? You trying to tell us how to?
I'm definitely not coaching the team, but what I just been here early.
Yeah, you would. Should fine you for being late.
No doubt about that.
I just think anytime you lose guys, not just Chris, but we've had guys out all year long, it's allowed for guys to experience what it's like to take the ball out of bounds in a simple end of game situation, how pressure packed that is. And I think the more you do it in season and the more times you experience it, the more you don't necessarily get used to it from it being easy standpoint, but at least you experience it. And the guy that I'm seeing, or two guys, Campaign and Landry, those guys have been able to be in tight situations, handling the ball, taking big shots, initiating offense. And that wouldn't have happened if Chris wasn't out or Book didn't have some of the COVID, issues he had this year. So I think it can be a blessing, if you will, especially if you can win the game. That makes it a lot easier to take or to swallow. So we just tried to, get everybody ready all year long. Player development has been a big deal for us for 3 years, and it helps when you lose guys.
Coach, do you have a target range for Chris? Obviously, he's been able to keep his conditioning up, but first getting back and team seems a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm going to read him, and, I have a target in my mind, but I can't cookie cut it. I think I have to, watch him, and especially when there's a break in action. There's certain signs as an athlete that you kind of know when a guy is laboring or that kind of thing. And he knows if he's feeling it, he'll tell me. But I think it's something we're going to monitor. You won't see him close to his normal, 28 to 32. But I do feel like, with the games we have left, we got to do our best to get him where he needs to be for the rhythm of the team and going forward.
Working with Mike Malone, we asked about Coach of the Year, and he mentioned he was one of the guys that he felt running for that award. Last year it meant a lot to me to be selected by the peers in that way.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on getting that kind of endorsement from Coach Mike Malone?
Yeah, Mike's one of the best in the league. If you look at this program, I'm not quite sure anybody's won as much as Denver has over the past few years. We may have won since the bubble. We won some games, but they've been winning here for a minute. And Mike's a guy that I've, spent a lot of time with on the floor, in the office, on the plane. Mike helped me to form some of my thoughts about coaches going home early to be with their family, because he was in the office way too late for me. And I didn't want to get the look from Jocelyn when I saw her. So I just have a great deal of respect for how he's handled all the adversity they've been through. And I know he's a really good coach because he helped me. And he was our lead assistant in New Orleans. And I had Chris Paul, David West, and some veterans, but I also have Mike Malone. So to get that kind of endorsement is pretty cool. But I don't think any of us go into the season, thinking about that. I think we just want to do well for our players and the organization. And when you hear that stuff, it's cool, but I don't think it's our goal as coaches.
In that same vein, do you have any thoughts on who the MVP would be at this juncture of the season? I know there's 9 games left, but where do you feel like that MVP race is going?
I typically don't mess with that because there's so many players that are having monster years. I struggle with, and I'm biased, but I struggle with the fact that, I don't get on a lot of platforms at all. I'm usually Hoops Hype and NBA app on my phone, right? And I saw Devin was in like 9th place. Okay, there you go. That's all you need me to say. Like, how do you do it? What's the criteria? The criteria seems to be a moving target every year. Is it winning in stats? Is it stats? Is it impact on winning? Like, I don't know what it is. So it's hard to make a judgment as a coach. And if I do that, I spend too much time getting upset about it because 2 of our guys aren't where they should be. So I do know the guys that get the mention a lot, and they should get it. I mean, Joker, Giannis, Embiid, but to have Devin in 9th. Yeah, exactly.
Matchup tonight with DA playing last night on the back with Jokic and that matchup is like.
I don't think we look at it from that perspective. I think it's about our team trying to stop a guy like Jokic. Obviously, there's 2 really good bigs playing against each other, but over the course of the game, like last night, we'll have different guys on Nikola from time to time. So it's hard to, make that point about the matchup aspect of it. But I know when you're playing against a guy like that, you get jacked up for it. But he poses so many problems for your team. Our team defense has to be at the highest level because of his scoring on every level, the passing, and his conditioning is unlike any big I've seen. He's one of the more well-conditioned athletes in the league. I don't think he gets enough credit for that.
Your team is not on the door of the greatest road record in NBA history. What makes this team such a great game?
You guys are shucking down the corn today, man. Holy smokes. It's the players. You know what I mean? It's we do what we try to do to put guys in a position to do well, but it's players. I mean, to play well on the road, I think you have to have a really good backcourt. And we feel like we have the best backcourt in the league. But you also have to have veterans, I think, that can execute. You rarely win a lot on the road with young players. And we've gotten a lot of experience with the young players we have. But it's players. That's the bottom line.
I'll finish with Tim Bontemps on Zoom.
Hey, Monty, hope you're doing well. Not to make you talk more about awards, but when you said that you had a couple guys that aren't where you'd like them to be, I assume one of them is Mikal in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. And I was just curious, we've seen over the past couple decades, generally bigs are kind of put at the top of the list for that award, right? And so I was curious from a coach's perspective, if you could, whether you want to make the case for Mikal directly or not, I'd be curious if you think that guards and wings should be considered more for that award, and if so, why?
I'm not saying they should. I'm not quite sure who should be in that position because it's hard to say when you don't have a criteria that you can look at and say, okay, he checked this box, he checked that box, I don't think there's a template that we can all follow. So therefore it's hard to make an assessment, in my opinion. I'm speaking from the impact that Mikal has on the game defensively. He guards multiple positions. He guards the toughest guy every single night from a wing position, which in my opinion, is the toughest position to guard with the way we play and the pace. And he takes so much pressure off of his teammates with that ability to guard multiple positions. And it's the deflections, it's the length, it's chasing down guys to get a contest. It's a lot of variables that he brings to the table. And in saying that, I'm not disrespecting the other guys that are in the running. It's just my opinion about what I see from him night in and night out, and his attitude towards it. You know, again, he doesn't flinch when he has a big time matchup, and he'll guard guys smaller and quicker. He'll guard guys that are bigger and stronger, and he does it every night. And I think that has to be taken into account.
Thank you.
Thank you.